Hey there, I know you probably just came off an ad, so I want to give you a little bit of context into who I am. So my name is Nick Durso, and I'm the founder of the New Home Buyers Academy and author of Muscle for Your Hustle. And here at the New Home Buyers Academy, I believe in financial independence. We want to directly help people become financially independent through real estate. What financial independence is when your passive income exceeds your expenses, so you don't have to trade your time for money, and then you can focus on the things that you want to do with your time here on earth. For me, it's traveling. I enjoy traveling. And the reason why I developed this entire philosophy and mission statement for the company is because I hated my life not too long ago. All right, I was going through the motions in college with my corporate job, conference calls, meetings, big company meetings that just felt so fake to me. I got a business degree at Xavier University, and I was super excited to get my sales job. It was my dream job in New York City, working for a medical company and living in the Big Apple. I hated it though. And the reason why I hated it was because I didn't like people telling me what clothes to wear. I couldn't ride my motorcycle to meetings, when I could go on vacations, who I could hang around, and when I could go on lunch. And it was just pretty much ridiculous. I hated everything about it. It felt so fake to me. I was making good money, but I just knew there was more to life than waking up and going to work to have the same routine conversations over and over again. I literally lived for the weekends, and even that sucked because living in New York City is just so expensive. So I was spending even more money on going out to bars, like games, events, little Airbnb getaways, up to Vermont to go snowboarding, and pretty much just everything in between. I was so overwhelmed with it that I knew I needed a plan. Work is over 60% of our waking lives, so we better find something that we actually enjoy doing, or we're gonna hate our lives for the majority of life, which that in itself is ridiculous. So I was like, all right, I gotta change something. I have all these ambitions of living an awesome lifestyle. Now I'm living here in Cancun, Mexico, which is where I am right now, running my awesome Airbnb business back home. But let's go back to February 2018. This was when I decided to buy a 2-family home in Brooklyn and had a basement apartment as well. I started renting it on Airbnb and generating even more money by literally not really having to do much. And this was the point in my life where I actually had money working for me. It was like real passive income. So fast forward to when I was scuba diving in June 2019, about a year and a half later, in Bonaire off the coast of Venezuela. This was when I realized going back to Brooklyn, it just wasn't for me anymore. Like, my actions are not matching my ambitions, and something really needs to change. I had always been entrepreneurial since I was a kid in high school, selling stuff on eBay. I also am really good about saving money. So when I saw the house was generating money and paying for the mortgage and enough for me to live somewhere else, I left my job and I bought a car in Arizona and I started to drive to Argentina. I always wanted to learn Spanish and speak another language. I love to scuba dive, and so I brought all my equipment with me to camp, stay in hostels, meeting awesome people, surf, and do what I want to do, on my own. Yeah, I was dumb in college and I racked up some debt, but I'm really good about finding ways to generate cash flow, and I know how to hustle. And that was what led me to start renting my home on Airbnb. I would travel for work, and while I was gone, I'd rent my apartment on Airbnb to make extra side cash to offset my rent payment. And I did this for about 3 years. Then I was like, I should buy a home and rent it out while I live here to live for free and actually build equity using other people's money from Airbnb. But what had happened was that in 2017 and 2018, I used an online tax software for my taxes. And just 9 months ago, I got a call from the IRS and I had to do a full audit. It really set me back because, long story short, they paid me over 20 grand in returns, and now I have to pay that back to them because I messed up on so many things doing my taxes. It sucks. I mean, no one wants to be in trouble with the IRS, let alone be in debt paying 20 grand back to them. But the thing is that It was an awesome learning experience because with my money saving habits, I've always prepared myself for the worst, meaning something like this, and I can pay it back. But what's crazy is that I have been driving to Argentina. I've met so many people who want to do the same thing or something similar and kind of like take back control of their life, but they don't know where to start. For me, I took my knowledge of saving money, getting it to work for me. I scaled it through my Airbnb business back in Brooklyn, and now I'm living here in Cancun until COVID-19 passes so I can continue my journey. And when I meet people, it's hard to discuss exactly how I was able to do it because it's not just an overnight get-rich-quick scheme. It's literally a lifestyle and a habit change that anyone can follow and do. But I literally had so many people from Arizona all the way to Belize, where I made it, just ask me all the time, how do you do it? And that's how the new Home Buyers Academy coaching program was born. Today, I help other people do the exact same thing. Get their finances in order to leverage credit, leverage their property, leverage the stock market to create income and use that income to build wealth. Now, I know I'm not the first person to teach this either. I help people to create income and use that income to build long-term wealth and become financially independent so they can focus on what's important to them. Again, for me, traveling is important, scuba diving is important. For you, it might be something different. So I'm gonna walk you through this process that I have mastered. So let's start with something like healthcare insurance, right? Your healthcare at work. This is just a quick hack literally anyone at a corporate company has access to. Right now, you're paying money out of your paycheck every 2 weeks for healthcare, right? So let's do easy numbers. Let's say $100 every 2 weeks, okay? Now, you're also healthy, all right? Let's say that you are healthy. You go to the doctor maybe 1-2 times a year, and your co-payment is maybe $20, and you're only going for a checkup or a physical or something. My point is that you don't have some chronic condition or break an arm every 7 weeks. You're healthy. You're not racking up tons of healthcare bills or need special medication or whatever, all right? So there's 52 weeks in a year, right? That's 26 pay periods in a year. So if you're paying $100 every 2 weeks, that's $2,600 a year. You don't get that money back ever when you're paying healthcare, right? So, you're kind of just thinking this is insurance and that's just how it works. I have to pay for my insurance. But it's almost similar to building equity by buying a house. You're building your equity by buying a house or throwing your money away to your landlord. And I'm going to explain this in a second. But what if I told you that you could get to keep that $2,600 a year forever and use that money to invest in the stock market? And even if you left your job, that money is still yours forever and you still have health insurance. Yeah, it's a real thing. It's called an HSA account, a health savings account. Google it. If you don't believe me, pause this video and Google it. But I'll explain it briefly. But we'll go over this on our one-on-one call if you schedule one as well. An HSA is this. You pay $100 every 2 weeks to yourself in an account. You get insurance with a PPO or an HMO, just like you most likely currently have right now. It's called a consumer-driven health plan. And your deductible is $2,000 and you have a higher copay than the $20 that we just used, right? But let's take the previous example. You paid $20 for your copay. No, you didn't. You paid $2,620 in total for the year if you're paying $100 every 2 weeks. With an HSA, you'll probably have to pay $50 out of your own pocket for that copay. But that $2,600 goes into your HSA account. Now, if you're healthy, you don't really pay much to go to the doctor anyway, right? But let's say you broke your arm with an HSA account. Well, if your deductible is $2,000, anything after $2,000, your insurance pays. That's what a deductible is, right? Oh, and let's say you didn't get hurt in the first year having your HSA account. You already saved $2,600. So that's the same as if you threw away your 2600 the previous year with just a regular PPO or HMO, not the HSA consumer driven health plan. My point is that I had an HSA account for full insurance coverage for over 5 years. And now that I don't even have a job and left my company, I have over $17,000 in my HSA account that can be used for healthcare forever. And you get to invest it in the stock market. So I'm making returns on it and it compounds and grows, right? But we can talk more about this on our phone call. But this is an easy way to build wealth, all right? Especially if you don't have a family and kids just yet, or you're just starting out. And the second is automating your money. If you don't have your money automated and actually saving money for you, then you're already losing. You need to have systems and processes in place to save money daily, weekly, monthly, whatever. You can always save more money. It's just people need a little bit of guidance. On our call, we'll discuss different ways for you to save over $1,000 a month using my automated processes through different apps and actually getting you started with properly budgeting. And this will help set up the things that you need to do to make the down payment on your new house so you can start saving and building equity and wealth over time. And finally, there's no reason to be scared or nervous about buying your first home or another home. You also shouldn't be dishing out your hard-earned cash on closing costs. My closing costs back in Brooklyn were over 15 grand on top of my down payment. But there's another trick you can do, which is called a seller's concession, where you roll the closing costs into the loan. But there's a proper time during the home buying process that you need to implement this in order to set it up correctly. When I bought my home, I knew I was going to buy a large property to rent out to other tenants and Airbnb travelers. With that said, I figured out how to use other people's money to get my money to work for me without having to pay closing costs. All right. So again, this is not a get rich quick scheme. This is real life shit, and we're going to go over it on our phone call. If you want to learn how to get real estate and money to work for you in the background, then let's schedule a call. Now, you may be asking, what is the secret to building wealth long term? Well, there's 3 steps to do it. You want to limit your expenses, okay? That's number 1. Number 2 is increase your passive income. And number 3 is invest to build compound interest. So this is what the wealthiest people in the world understand. And this is why Warren Buffett has over 90 income streams. And that's why he's worth more than $80 billion. It's because he limits his expenses. Number 1, he's not living a super lavish lifestyle or just blowing money away. He has constricted his expenses. He has his income feeding into his wealth funnel, and he is investing at least 10% of his income, which I'm sure it's much, much more than just 10%, into his businesses. And this is exactly what I teach. I teach people to invest at least 10% of their income through automation and processes to buy a house, generate wealth, and then repeat. People like Warren feed all of that income into more investments, which feeds further streams of income, which feeds right back into the funnel, and it compounds over time. And that's why he is one of the wealthiest people in the world, because he understands this. He literally has over 90 streams of passive income that just feed right back into his funnel and continuously grow over time. So what we do on our call is wherever you are making money from, like maybe you have an Airbnb account, but wherever you're making money from, Airbnb, cutting expenses, changing your healthcare, adjusting your 401k, automating your savings, whatever we do together is that we take a percentage of that income and we put it into long-term investments. Even if you do not have any prior business experience, you can still easily make money in this program. You know, all you have to do is learn the knowledge and actually apply the knowledge. That's pretty much it. That's as simple as I can put it. There's so many different ways to make money in my program. So honestly, it's quite easy. If you come in and you don't make money, you're just completely lazy and you took 0 action, to be honest. That's just how it goes. So here's what you need to do. There are buttons all over this page. to apply, and you're going to have to fill it out, an application which qualifies you, because we do not let anyone and everyone into this program. I'm pretty selective with who I work with, and you're going to get further qualified prior to our call by filling out a longer survey, and also just to see if this program is a good fit for your goals and ambitions and for what you're looking for. So click the button, schedule a call, and I hope to see you inside the new Home Buyers Academy.